Hi everyone, Cheryl here. So this is going to be part 4 of the tutorial for the large album, and what we're going to work on now is the base page 2. So this base page 2 has this pocket or place for you to put pictures in. So it flips down, there's a magnet that holds it, and then it folds over, and then you have this large pocket right here. And then when you flip it over, it's just a large photo mat. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna do this first, because this actually adheres here before you actually put this piece down. So we'll go ahead and do this piece first, and then we'll work on the rest of this, and then hopefully this will not take too long, so that way we can go ahead and do base page 2 and base page 3, and then you'll just be able to duplicate those twice, and then you'll have all of your pages done for your album. All right, so first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take, you should have had a sheet or had 2 pieces that look like this. So it's got that fold here, the fold here, and then one that's like this with the fold right here. Okay, I already matted this piece right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and prepare this piece so that we can go ahead and get this one matted, the magnets and everything like that, so that we can get this one done. So if you remember, this one is, I think this was 10 3/4 by 6 if I'm not mistaken, and then you have to score at 1/2 inch on the 6-inch side, and then you have to turn it on its side on the 10 3/4 side and score at 3 1/4. So what you're gonna do is you are going to remove this piece right here and then angle this piece right there. So all I'm doing, you guys can see, here's that crease right there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my angle there, and then I'm going to remove this piece right here. And I'm just using scissors. If you guys feel more comfortable using your trimmer, you can do that as well, but I'm just going to use my scissors to go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, so that's done. Then what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the corner out of this one as well. Sorry, I know I got it turned kind of crooked so you guys couldn't see that. But so what's going to happen is you're going to take this flap here, fold it to the back, and then this piece right here will fold to the front. So this right here will become your hinge so that it can fold back and forth. Okay, so go ahead and take your bone folder and crease that on out so that you are able to get a good fold without it popping up or buckling or anything like that. Then what I did was I actually used a decorative corner punch on both of my edges. So go ahead and get that. Then I can go ahead and get that done. So I'm just going to punch my corners. Okay. Alright, so now that I have this one, I'll move this out the way. So now that I've done that, this piece right here, either you can go ahead and start matting it, or you can go ahead and adhere this bottom piece right here. That way you can go ahead and finish basically everything up. And you won't forget, like I did, that there was a magnet that actually was supposed to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the adhesive here, and then that way I can go ahead and start matting everything. Just to, you know, make it a little easier. So all I'm doing is I'm putting adhesive on this flap. Get rid of the extra adhesive that's on the corners, and then all you're going to do is you are going to take the edge of this piece. So you have your corner punch piece at the top. This is the large page right here, and then I'm just going to bump that up to the crease, and then do not put it over the crease, but bump it up to the crease so that you have just a little bit of room. Hold on one second. I went over the crease with the adhesive. I gotta make sure. And then also make sure that your flap is not getting partially glued down as well. There we go. And so you just stick that down. Make sure that you use your bone folder to adhere a good adhesion. Then you can fold it up. And so that becomes your pocket. Okay. Now for this piece right here, I did round my corners using my corner rounder. Just because I like the look of that, especially since these are decorative edges. I didn't want them straight. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put the magnet here or here. That way we can go ahead and do those. That way I won't accidentally forget. Let's do this one. So kind of figure out where you think you want your magnet to go. So I'm thinking maybe right about there, so it's not directly at the edge. So I'm going to flip this over again because I want it to be on the inside, not on the outside, so it won't look so bulky. So like that. So I'm just going to take my adhesive, my ATG runner, and put some adhesive down. I think you guys can see that on the camera. And then I'll take my magnet and then put it back where I thought I wanted it to be. And then just press it down. Okay? So if you guys can see that, that's there. So then all I'm going to do is take some more adhesive and go over the magnet so I can make sure it stays in place. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take your mats for this, and you're going to go ahead and adhere them down. I already cut them out. I forgot to do my corners, to punch my corners, so I'm just going to go ahead and punch my corners really quick, and then I'll glue this down. So I use a combination of glues on these with the decorative corners. I use the ATG, and then I also use the Scott's Quick Adhesive, just because it makes it a little easier to get in those little corners and stuff. Okay, so now that I've got that one, let me grab my Scott's Quick Dry. Catch my edges real quickly. Oops. And this one. Oops. It would help if it stayed on. Okay, so now this is the one that's going to go on the top. This is the one that's going to go on the bottom. Since the bottom one is the one that has some adhesive on it, we'll do the bottom one first and then come back up to the top one. So I'm just going to put adhesive everywhere, you know, all along the borders except for the decorative punch right there. Or the decorative corner rather. Because there, with those spaces, I use my Scott's Quick Dry. Okay, so I'm just smoothing down to make sure I don't have extra adhesive. And even with the little holes and stuff, sometimes there's some. I'm just smoothing that down as well, because then it'll wind up being a little sticky where you don't need it to be because of that extra space right there with the holes because of the punch. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is take my Scott's Quick Dry and I'm going to just put glue in these areas right here where all those little lines are to make the decorative border. So, and I'll show you guys where I have it once I get it on there. I just have to be able to see what I'm doing. And because this dries clear, if you wound up having just a little too much, that's okay too, because it does dry clear and you can kind of wipe it off with your finger. Sorry about that. Okay, so if you can see, hopefully you can see that, that's where I have the glue, just on all those little lines. Alright, so then what I do is I just kind of try to line this up. I don't line it up at the bottom. I actually line it up at the corners just so I can make sure that I have a really nice overlap and the border is right there. So this one needs to be moved over just a little bit. Let's see. There we go. And so once it's done, it'll look like that. So it has a really cute overlap. And then what happens is when you turn it over, you'll know exactly where to put it and those white lines won't be showing. Okay, so let me just go ahead and stick this down really quick. I'll burnish it with my bone folder. And I'm just going around the magnet. Okay, and then this actually went over my folds. Then let me go ahead and take my other piece and put adhesive on that as well. Okay. Then, sorry, I know the ATG is in the way, but I'm just putting adhesive down. Okay, so there's that one. I'm just gonna smooth the adhesive down just to make sure I don't have it popping over the edges. And you'll be able to see it if you accidentally do have some over the edges. And then I'm just going to take the Scott's Quick adhesive and then put it over the exposed pieces so those can be glued down as well, because I don't want those to be popping up. Sorry, I was out of frame. Okay. So again, if you guys can see where I have the glue. And then on this one as well. Okay, so just going to take this and flip this around. And then kind of line it up where I had the other ones. And then that way you can hide the white from the other side. And then you just stick this down and then smooth that out. And then if you have excess glue, all you have to do is just smooth that out as well, because it dries clear. So you don't have to worry about actually being able to see any remnants of glue. Okay, so this is the top, and then this is the flip side. Okay, so now this piece goes like this. So what I'm going to do, because I actually glued this piece down, I'm gonna take the other magnet, and this one's a little tricky. When you guys do this, don't do what I did. Just be sure that you put your magnet on this side. But I'm actually gonna move the magnet, make sure I have it on the right side, and just kind of put it down just so I can kind of see exactly where it will go. So the magnet is there, you can see it like that. So I'm going to just hold my finger there and then pop this up and put some adhesive down, if I can. Alright, so I'm going to just try this again really quickly just to make sure it's going to catch. And hold. And it didn't, so I must have it in the wrong spot. Alright. Don't want to rip this page up, but I might have to, because that isn't where it's supposed to go. And the magnet is not working the way I need it to. It almost seems like it's just not. Sorry guys, hold on. Okay. So I have the magnet where it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive down. Again, don't do what I just did. I caught myself trying to get ahead so I wouldn't have to mat absolutely everything on camera, but I should have not matted this page. I could have matted this page, but not this one. Sorry about that. But not this page, simply because this would have made it easier when trying to find the magnet. So, but that's okay. You guys can learn from my mistakes. And trust me, I always rip up a page. It would not be me if I did not rip up a page to put another one down. So I'm going to, I already have adhesive on the page that goes for this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this one down. I'm actually going to bump it up against the bottom down here to start so I can see where my border is. And then I can go ahead and adhere this down. There we go. That. And then just go around the magnets. Okay. So then when you close this up, the magnet sticks right there. Okay. So I'm just going to actually burnish this just a little bit. Okay. And so now I can go ahead and adhere the page here and adhere my page here. Okay. So the first one for this one on the inside, that one I have right here, and I already put some adhesive on this one. So I can go ahead and stick this one down. So I'm just trying to get a nice border. There we go. And smoothing that one out. Okay, for real? Do you not want to stick now? But you stuck before. Now it sticks. I may have to rip this page up and put it where it's supposed to be because this is not working for me, but I'll do that later. It's like I put it on the wrong side. Alright, sorry guys. You rip this up. And one good thing about ATG tape is that if you haven't let it sit too long, you can actually get it up. Without ripping too much up. Alright, let's try this. See if that helps. No. Okay, so what I'm going to do is rip this piece up, that way I can put it where it's supposed to go, because trying to put it on the other side was not working. Hopefully I won't have to get a new sheet to put this on there, but we'll see. Okay, so all I'm doing now that I've got the paper ripped up, I have my magnet stuck here. I'm gonna do what I did in the first one and put some adhesive down here so that the magnet will actually catch. And then I can go ahead and adhere this down the right way so I don't have any issues. And then all I'm gonna do is put some more adhesive down along the border. Since I did rip this up, I can make sure that there's more than enough adhesive down to catch it, and I won't have any edges lifting up or anything like that. Okay, so I'm just going to take my bone folder and smooth this right back over. And that way, all will be well. There we go. So now it snaps and closes like it's supposed to. So let me go ahead and mat this back piece, and then we can go ahead and move on to base page 3. Or rather finish up base page 2, and then we'll be able to move on to base page 3. So this one here, all I'm going to do is bump this one up to the edge here. Get a nice border. And then stick it down. Take my bone folder and smooth that out. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have our pocket here, flips open, closes with the magnet. This piece right here, because it folds to the back, we need to put some adhesive here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oops. Okay, so then I can go ahead and adhere this to the base page, which I have here. Again, don't forget, you need to make sure that the opening is to the left. And so what you do here, I'm going to turn it this way so I can see it a little bit better, is I just kind of eyeball it to kind of make sure that I have it centered and it's even on both of these sides. Even though a lot of times that's kind of hard to do without a ruler, you can pretty much eyeball it. You can tell by looking at it that it might be just a little bit off. It's never going to be absolutely perfect, but as long as you're happy with it, that's all that matters. So I'm just going to go ahead and smooth this down. Okay, so now this one also has a pocket right down here. So I have my pocket here. I've already adhered my paper. And then this is going to be the top part of the base page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of this, adhere this down right here, because you do not need a full sheet of adhesive or a full sheet of paper, because the pocket is going to cover this bottom part up right here. Okay, so I only have this top piece just as far so that you can see it all the way down, and it goes just a little bit further, but not all the way down. Okay, so let me move this over here, put some adhesive on the back of this, and then we can adhere this down, and then the pocket. And then we can go ahead and flip it to the back, and then that way we'll be able to mat the back page, which is just a full-size mat, no pockets or anything like that, and then we can move on to the third base page. Okay. So just getting adhesive on this. Making sure I can get a good stick. Okay. Move this Scott's Quick Dry out the way. Okay. So I'm just smoothing this down so I don't have any extra adhesive over my edges. Okay, so we'll take this, flip this over, and since it's a chevron, it doesn't really matter which way you put it, but go this way, make sure I get a nice border. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I gotta turn it this way so I can see it a little better. Because the chevron has brown in it, so it's blending just a little bit. And I want to make sure that I don't have a huge gap all the way across. Make sure that it's even. Okay, so just varnish that. Okay, so now time for the pocket. One of my pockets is already adhered down. I can go ahead and take the tape off so that I can adhere this side down, and then go ahead and stick it all the way down. Okay, take that and we'll smooth that over. Oh, another thing I think I forgot to mention. When you punch the decorative edge for your pockets, when you put your score tape down, and I do recommend using score tape for this instead of ATG. When you put your score tape down, at least for this particular punch, there's this piece that goes up right there. If you don't put adhesive up there, this piece will kind of be flopping in the wind. So what I normally do is I put just 1/8 of an inch score tape, if you guys can see that glare. 1/8 of an inch score tape right there, and just go ahead and run it all the way down. And I do that on both sides just so I can make sure that when I stick this down, that piece is stuck down as well. So it's the same way on this side as well, if you guys can see that. So it's right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick this down, and then we can go ahead and move on. Okay, so I'll leave this like this, and that way I can bump this up against the edge over here on this side. I hope you guys can see, and I'll bring it up close so you guys can see as well. And then I just follow it along the edge, making sure that I keep it straight and adhere down. Okay, and then you just take your bone folder and make sure you get a good stick. Okay, and then I usually just take my bone folder on the inside and go along the edge down at the bottom as well, and then also on the side. Okay, so there is the pocket. It's all up against the edge, as you guys can see. And so this is what it looks like, all finished. Alright, so now you just have to flip it over, and then I can add this piece here because this is going to be my back piece. So let me go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of this, and then we can glue this down. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure I have enough adhesive to adhere a good stick, and not a whole lot or hardly any or any at all. Any gaps or bubbles, because every now and then that happens to me when I don't put enough adhesive down. Okay. Alright, so this one, I'm just going to turn it, and I'm going to bump it up against this edge, but then also get a nice border, and go ahead and stick it down. And then go ahead and smooth that out. Okay, so this page is done. So flips over, pocket, and then you have a large photo mat. Okay, so that was the second base page, and so here is the third base page. That's the one we're going to work on now. Okay, so let me get this out the way really quickly, just clean up my space before too much mess. Okay, so this one has the double flip pockets. Okay, and then there's a huge pocket here, And then when you flip this over, you have a pocket here and a pocket here. Okay, so we're gonna do the flip pockets first. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the double pockets. So for these, what you're gonna do is go ahead and fold on all your score marks. So you'll fold over like this, and then for this last one, you'll fold it over like this. What we're gonna do is put some adhesive right here, and then we'll go ahead and put some score tape or other double-sided, strong double-sided adhesive on your hinges to adhere those. And then also you're gonna need a wet glue, or you can use the score tape as well. You can use either or. I tend to use wet glue. But that's totally up to you which way you guys decide to go. So I'm just folding this one over, and then I'm going to put some adhesive on the flap and seal the flap as well. And then I'll go ahead and smooth both of these out because I want to make sure that you give a good crease all the way. Okay, so here's this one. I'll smooth this one out, and then go over this way and smooth this one out as well. And do the same thing over here. And then smooth out that. Okay, so now for the hinges, you're going to go ahead and fit your hinge, and it doesn't matter which side you do because they're both the same. Fit your hinge in on one side, and then you're just going to, you want to make sure that it's going to fold well. Okay, so you pick, you can either adhere this end here or you can adhere this end here, but you're only going to do one. What I usually do is I adhere, or should I say I put adhesive on, let's see, if you put adhesive, the flap is going to flip like this. So I usually put adhesive here and I put adhesive here. So you go ahead and put that on. So you guys can see that. And I use, because this is a 1/2 of an inch, I usually use a 1/4 of an inch and then an 1/8 of an inch as far as the score tape that I put down. Because I don't always need a 1/2 inch because sometimes there's a little bit extra space. So I find that by using the 1/4 inch and the 1/8 inch, I get perfect coverage. So you're going to do that to all of your hinges because you should have 4 of these pockets and 4 sets of hinges. Alright, so let's skip this one and we'll do this one the same way. And then we can go ahead and stick the one side down and then use either hot glue or you can use the Scott's Quick Dry adhesive to actually seal it for the side that doesn't have the double-sided tape on the inside of the pocket. And I'll show you guys what I mean in a minute. Okay, almost done with that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is only remove one side. Okay, so I'll remove this side here first because the other side is going to actually be adhered to your base page. So you don't want to take the adhesive off of that side just yet. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and fold this like this. And then I'm going to take my pocket here. And then I'm going to go ahead and slip this in. But rather than sticking this side here, I'm just going to fold it over like this to make sure that I have it exactly where I want it. And then seal it. Okay? And the reason I do that is because I want to make sure that I am not adhering it crookedly. So if I actually fold it over this way first and then seal this edge here, I find that it works out a lot better. So now, as you guys can see, it's all stuck down, no problem, but it's still open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hot glue and put some adhesive right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to seal that down. You don't need a whole lot, but you do need to make sure that you get enough. Try not to get it on your scored line like I just did. But if you're quick, you can wipe it up. And then there's your pocket. So you can stick your tag in there. So we're not done. Let's do the next one. And then we can go ahead and do our notch and put our paper down. And it should be good. So again, I am just gonna stick this in, but I'm not gonna stick it down to the back side. I'm actually gonna fold it over, sorry, so I can make sure that it's even. This one's giving me a little bit of trouble. I'm not sure why. But even if you just have to stand it up so you can get it the way you need it to be, that works too. So now that I have this just like I need it, I'm just going to go ahead and seal it. Okay. And then go ahead and burnish the edges. And then there we go. So all you have to do is seal this up. Like that, and then stick that down. And again, if you have any extra that comes out, that's okay. With the hot, if you're using hot glue, rather, I should say, it'll come right off as long as you catch it right away. Okay, so there's our pocket. All right, so now, here we go. So these are going to be adhered down just like this so that they fold back like that. So now what we're going to do before we actually adhere them, at least this is what I do. You guys can do what you feel is best, what you're comfortable with. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut my notch out, and then I'm going to adhere my papers. Okay, so I have this circle punch. And let me measure this out and I can tell you what it is. This one is 1 7/8. That's the measurement for the circle. So I'm just going to slide this in, try to center it so that I have even amount of space on this side and that side. Excuse me, and then also make sure that it's not crooked as far as the notch that I'm cutting out. And punch. This is an old punch, so sometimes it doesn't pop out right away. But then there's my notch, okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other pocket as well. So again, I'm just looking on both sides to kind of make sure, see if they're kind of even. And punch. Here we go. All right, so that's that. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and adhere my pieces down, okay? So these are actually going this way. I'm just making sure that when I get ready to adhere my paper down, that it's okay. All right, so because on the first one I had these tags on there, I'm gonna do the same thing. So see, I think I'm gonna go with this and then this, and then these two will be on the inside. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay. So give me 1 second. I can go ahead and put some adhesive on these so I can stick them down. Okay. That one, put some adhesive on this one. I'm just gonna smooth this down, make sure I don't have any extra adhesive on the edges, as I know I am sometimes prone to do. And then I'm just going to center this and get a good border and stick it down. And then just burnish it. And then take my ink and then also the circle punch, because I just need to feed this through and punch out that extra notch. There we go. And so then all I have to do now is just ink that edge just a little bit, just so it's not stark, and so it'll match the rest of them. Okay, so that's this one here. Let me go ahead and put this other one down, and then I can notch that one, and then we'll go ahead and mat the pieces for the back. So all I'm doing on this one, well, make sure I don't have any extra glue, is the same thing. I'm just going to center it here, and then I'm just going to stick it down. Okay. Alright, there we go. And then I just have to notch this. And that's that one. And then I'll take my inker and ink the edges really quickly. And then there we go. Alright, so I'm going to put some adhesive on the other two, and then I can put those on the back as well. Okay. There's one. Goes with that one, and here is two. And then I'll grab my pop dots and stick those tags on the front, because I wanted them to be raised up just a little bit, so I used some pop dots so that they would have that look. Okay. Alright, so I'm just smoothing the glue around on this one to make sure I didn't have any extra. And then I'm just going to center this and stick it down. Okay. Then take the circle punch again, slide that in, and then punch it out. Okay. And then I just have to ink the edges on this one just a little bit. I can keep this thing on. I think I need to buy another one. And just ink that up. Okay, so this one is done. And so I just need to adhere that one. So let me just take care of the extra glue. Seems to be more on this one. Okay. And then glue this one down as well. Okay. Alright, so now I just need to cut the notch out of this one, and then we will be pretty much done with the pockets. Okay. Let me make sure I ink these edges really quickly. And then what we can do now is go ahead and adhere this down. Okay. So let's take... okay, so what we're going to do now is I went ahead and matted this, but we're going to go ahead and adhere the pockets down to the base page. So make sure and I'm just testing this out so you guys can see. But make sure that your opening, again, is to the left, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and take off the adhesive from the flap, and we can go ahead and adhere that down. So I'm just making sure the adhesive and everything is there. So this one I had at the bottom. The other thing too that I need to tell you guys is that these will open independently, but they don't have to be all the way to the edge, but you want them to be a little bit closer towards the middle, so you have a little bit of a border piece. Okay, so I'm gonna do the first one, and I'm just gonna line it up with the edge over here. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had an extra piece of adhesive there. It's driving me crazy. I'm just gonna line it up with the edge, leave a little bit of a border there towards the end, and go ahead and stick that down. Okay, so now what I can do is I can bump this one up with this one. Make sure you put it down so you can see how it turns. And then I can put this one right next to that one, leave a little bit of a gap, but then I'll also have a little bit of a border here at the top as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this adhesive off. Fold over extra adhesive that I had, and then I'm just gonna line it up, but still remember to leave a little bit of a gap, because if you put them right on top of each other, they will not turn freely. So this one turns, and this one, see what I mean? This one will turn as well. Otherwise, if you put them too close, they won't have that space, or they'll be like this. So you just want to make sure that when you do put them down, the way I designed, or the way, well, yeah, I guess the way that I designed them was so that it would be a little bit of a border here at the bottom, as well as a little bit of border at the top, just so there was more than enough space for them to turn freely. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do is go ahead and flip these over and figure out what I did with my bone folder just that quick. Here it is. And burnish this so I get a good stick. So now this opens to the left. Okay, so this flips over like this. This piece right here is gonna go right up here at the top, and then this is going to be my pocket right here. Okay, so I'm going to stick this piece down first, and then we can go ahead and stick our pocket down. So let me get some adhesive on this piece here. And then I can go ahead and stick the pocket down. Okay. So it's just smoothing this down so I don't have any extra glue. Okay. So now flip my pockets over, and then I'm going to stick this here so that I have a little bit of a border. Okay, and then just have to smooth this out. Okay, so now I've already put my score tape here all along my pockets, so I just have to take this off so I can get these glued down as well. And I matted it earlier in the interest of saving a little bit of time. Okay, so just one more side. Okay, so this one, I need to go ahead and stick my pockets down. So there's one pocket, or a corner rather, and then there's two. So now my corners are ready, and all I have to do now is bump this up against the edge. Let's see if I can move that. And you will have a little bit of a border on this. And also make sure, because the edge of your pocket is here, you also need to make sure that it's going to turn and you don't have it too close to where you feel like it won't turn freely, so it won't be an obstruction there. So I'm just going to, sorry about that, let me move this a little closer. Just going to bump this here. And I'm not going to sit this down all the way. I just want to look, just so I can see where my edges are on the sides. So there'll be a little bit of a border on both sides because it isn't all the way to the edge, if you guys can see that. So it's one side and it's two. So let me go ahead and stick this down. I'll stick this down first, that side, and then I'll flip this around and go ahead and move this a little closer because, sorry, that one is a little too far away. Sorry. I know my arm was all in the way. But I just need to make sure that it's not too much of a border down at the bottom, because that's not where the border is supposed to be, or at least not that big anyway. There we go. That's better. Okay. So again, you can take your bone folder and slide it in the middle right there, or slide it on the inside rather, and just try to burnish those. And then you can also flip this upside down and then use your bone folder to go inside like that and burnish everything. Okay, so now these are going to stick up a little bit. That's just the way they do. You can go ahead and take your bone folder and crease it a little bit more, and then that way they will stay down. It's a little better, but not much. So now we have our pocket. We have our two pockets here, pocket here. And so now this part right here is the double pocket. So I actually have matted these two, and then this is going to be the top piece here. So let me go ahead and mat this piece down, and then we can adhere the other two pieces. And then we should be done with these. Only thing left to do now is to do the tags and the binding, and then the covers and our spine. So the tags, I'm not going to do the tags on camera because you just have to basically cut your mats out and adhere those down. So those are pretty much okay. We don't need to do those together. So I'll do those later, and then that way I can just put them in the album when we're finishing it up. Okay, so this is my top piece here. Your opening now should be to your right because you've flipped it over. Make sure you are at the top, and then just trying to see which piece I want towards the top. Yeah, we'll go with, no, I'll go with this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a nice border onto the side and go ahead and stick that down. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and stick this down. So this is the larger pocket, the one that's the 8x8. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick that down. I've already matted my small piece here, even though it looks like it should be a little bit longer. When you put the smaller pocket with it, it isn't. It's actually a perfect fit. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to stick this one down first, and then I'll stick the other one. So just taking the strips off for the adhesive. And then one more set. Okay. So smoothing over any extra adhesive, and then I'm just going to fold these back so I can actually stick my corners down to form the pocket. And then I am going to take this and stick this towards the bottom and just kind of line it up. Okay. Let me see something. Alright, my pocket here, the corner came undone. Let me try this one more time. So again, I'm going to line it up with the edge here. And then move this down towards the bottom. And then go ahead and stick that down. Keep in mind you might have to pull it a little bit just so it doesn't get crooked, because these things, for whatever reason, the pocket likes to go a little haywire on me, and then it looks kind of crooked. So okay, so this one here, I'm just gonna burnish so I get a good stick. There's another one there. And then last pocket here. Alright, so again, I'm just taking the strips off for the adhesive. And then got this one down here at the bottom. And then the last set here. Okay, so I'm just going to stick my corners so that those will stay. Okay, and then same thing, you're just going to go ahead and line this up with the corner, either your left corner or your right corner, and I usually follow the path down at the bottom, and then go ahead and stick the sides. Okay, and then you just have to follow that up with your bone folder to make sure that you get a good adhesion. Okay, and so that's it. And that is our last page. So let me go ahead and get all of the pages out so that you guys can see what they look like. So that's that one. Okay. Okay, so here are all 6 of my base pages. So here's this one here, like this and like that. And then when you flip it over, here's the belly band. And then here's this one here. It flips down, and then this flips over, pocket here. And then when it flips over, you have a base page for a large photo mat or photo mat journaling, whatever you decide to do. Here are 2 pockets, one here, one there, and these both flip over independently, and then you have another large pocket here. This flips over, and then you have a pocket here and a pocket here, and then it just repeats. And then these are the ones that we did together. So this one right here flips over, this flips up, and then when this flips over here, here is the belly band. Okay, and then here we have this pocket here, and that one, and then that flips over, and then you have a pocket here. Okay, and then when you flip this over, we have this large space here for pictures or journaling, or pictures and journaling. And then we have these 2 independent pockets here, and then a large pocket here, and then when you flip it over, pocket here, pocket here. Okay, so now that all of the base pages are done, we can go ahead and do our binding and then do our covers and go ahead and get the book binded together. So I'll be back with another video, and that's the one where I'll work on the binding. I am going to use Kathy's Paper Phenomenon. I'm going to use her hidden hinge system only because I usually use a modified version of it. It's like a take on Kathy and Laura following the paper trail. It's like a hodgepodge of both of them together. I usually use that one, but because this one is a little heavy, especially with this waterfall right here, I decided that I thought maybe that I needed the flaps. So I used the hidden hinge. So I'll show you guys that my gussets are not all the same. Some of them are 1/2 inch and some of them are a little larger than 1/2 inch, just to accommodate. So if you guys decide to put anything right here, like I probably will put a flower or some other embellishment right here, you just need to account for that when you do your hinges, just to make sure that you have more than enough room and it's not bumping up against the other one. Okay, so I'll be back with another video and I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.